Yoder. My passion is to empower ag producers around their books and their finances. Beyond making these YouTube videos, I've also created an all-inclusive online bookkeeping course for producers called Ag Books. This online course will teach you all that you need to know to manage your books in QuickBooks Online. And one of the best features of this course is an exclusive Facebook group where you get direct access to me to ask any questions that might arise in your operations books. So I'll leave a link for that in the bio and you can check that out. Now let's get into today's video.
Welcome. Have you ever wondered if your books are accurate? Have you ever thought that the numbers seemed off, but you weren't sure what to do about it or where to look for issues? Well, today we're going to go over reconciling of bank accounts, the answer to a million questions. First off, why should you reconcile your accounts? Reconciling your accounts is the best and most surefire way of double checking that you and your accounting software are on the same page. It's similar to balancing a checkbook, but in the end, what reconciling does at the very core is ensure that your finances are only reporting the transactions that actually took place, no duplicates or mistakes. So when you don't reconcile, your books are surprisingly inaccurate. And it's a fast way. When you don't reconcile, it's a really fast way to make a mess in your accounting software. Reconciling says, yes, the only transactions that are reporting are the ones that came through your bank account. Now, that's what happens when you reconcile your bank account. There are other accounts that need to be reconciled, and those are any asset and liability accounts, things like line of credit, credit card, inventory, accounts receivable, accounts payable, any loan or changing asset account. We're going to cover those in another video. In this video, we're going to focus on the reconciliation of the bank account. Now, if you're not reconciling these accounts, you're risking inaccurate books, which we all know are about as much use to us as, a sick dog. So let's dive into QuickBooks Online. Here we are in the bank feed, and a couple of things that you can note when you're looking at reconciling your accounts are these balances here in the bank feed. Now, these bank balances are zero because this is my Ag Books file, and these are not actual bank accounts. So their bank balances are zero. But if your bank accounts are hooked up to the automatic feed where it's pulling the transactions here automatically, or if you're uploading with a QBO file from your bank account, these will have accurate bank balances. And when the ones in QuickBooks don't match, you can know something is going on. Now, these ones don't match for two reasons. One, because it's not a real account. Two, because it has transactions left in the register here. Oh, this isn't the register, but in the banking page that need to be categorized. Once those are categorized, like this one here, all of these transactions are categorized. If these balances do not match, something is amiss. There's a mistake somewhere. So something to keep in mind, a really easy way to just look at your account and say, okay, I see what's going on. These are not right. So that's what you can look for in the banking page. Let's go to the register. Now, when you're looking at the register is really has a lot of important information about it. And I would just say this one thing about the register. If something is in the register, it's reporting in your books. And we'll get into that a little bit later. You'll understand better what I mean. But you can see here that this checking account was reconciled through March 31st of this year. So anything prior to March has been reconciled. That's how reconciling works, is that it takes care of the balance and all of the transactions up to this point. Okay? So anything prior to that that's not reconciled would be an issue. And we'll get into that a little bit more also. Let's look at the status column. So the status column is very important also. It's a good thing to look at because it tells you, these green boxes tell you that it was manually added from the bank feeds. And all that means is that we were in this banking area, adding it over here or finding it a match somewhere in here, recording a transfer, it came through your bank feed here. That's what those green boxes mean. And you can see that when you hover over this, indicates whether a transaction was added or matched in the account's bank feed. Pretty straightforward. Now, this one doesn't have those green boxes, and that's because it was not added through the bank feed. It was added through the create button. It was created here in the receive payment, or you can create things in this column here. Anything created in those columns that's not matched to a transaction in the bank feed is going to cause an issue. It must match. So that was not matched. It was not cleared. So the cleared status pretty much, generally it means it just came from that bank feed as well. There you can either have the cleared status or you can have the R for reconciled status. Okay, it was verified. We reconciled it. Now you can manually manipulate that status, and I would highly recommend that you don't. If you just are sitting here clicking reconciled to make stuff look reconciled, that's just about as inaccurate as just not reconciling. Don't manually do this unless you understand what you're doing it for. So, a nice way to look at your books and see if there are any reconciliation issues is to filter by this status. Now it filters it with all of the non-cleared, non-bank feed transactions first, and then the cleared transactions come after that. So these were all transactions that were not in the bank feed. That could be throwing off our balance. Also, if you go to the transition between the reconciled and the cleared transactions, when we get down here, you get to that last reconciled transaction at the end of March. Any transactions in the cleared section right here are going to be the latest that happened. Now, this should be the latest that happened, the beginning of April. But we have some transactions that are not reconciled and they're prior to our reconciliation date. That means that these transactions more than likely need to be deleted. Or your reconciliation is off, but most of the time they need to be deleted. And the way that you can tell if your reconciliation is off is to go to the reconcile button and it will have a little alert for you. And if that's the case, then you need to take care of these manually. But if you take care of them manually and it makes your balance go off, then it will give you another alert. So be careful with manual reconciliations, but this is the place to look for other transactions that might be throwing your balance off. Like I said, more than likely, these 2 February transactions need to be deleted. Now let's get into a reconciliation. Now, as you can see, we're in the right checking account. It shows that last statement ending date. What you're going to do is go to your bank statement and find that balance for the last day, and you're going to enter that in here. Now, this is a negative a lot, which hopefully your bank account does not look like. But like I said, it's my trial account, and so all of this is made up. Enter that ending date. Make sure you've got the right month, day, and year. It makes a big difference. And start reconciling. So what we see here is our beginning balance, which is accurate because there was no alert for the reconciliation, and the statement ending balance, which we can double check against our own balance, the bank statement balance, to make sure that that's correct. Now, the bank statements you're going to have to pull from your own bank account, or you'll get them in the mail, or however you get your bank statements. Now, I know that this is a faulty transaction, so I'm not going to show the hidden transaction, but generally I would show the hidden transaction. Now it shows, and if your bank account shows this, it'll show the payments and deposits. So you can see which of these is possibly to blame for this difference. Okay, because we have a difference, so it's not reconciled. So like I said, if your bank statement shows how many deposits you had, these are the deposits, and how many payments you had, you can try to figure out which one is the culprit and filter by clicking on either of these and seeing which might be the issue. The way that I like to filter these is through the cleared date, because to me, that's the most important. Cleared date means when it came through your bank feed. So I can see here that this is probably throwing us off. This was cleared back in February of another year, probably not the transaction that I need to be reconciling for this month. Now we can see that the rest of these were cleared in the present month. They should be accurate. Occasionally you'll come up with duplicates, but I know because of what's going on that this is not going to be found in here. So we still have an $8,400 difference, $8,400 difference. Where we could find that, I'm not sure. You can either search it, but if it's not able to be searched, it might be something that never came through the bank feed. So we can go through what I'm going to do. Let's go to the banking tab. And I can see here that that is the missing transaction. It's in April. It's the same amount. It's the missing transaction. Now, ideally, you would want to make sure that you had all of these taken care of before you go to reconcile, but it could be the issue. We go back to the reconciliation and find that that was the issue. Now, again, if you're having troubles and you can't find which transaction is causing the difference up here, you can walk step by step each transaction on your bank account and go through and check them off. The only time that you'll have a lot of trouble is when you're creating a lot of things in this area and they're not matching. Okay. And so now we could just finish it off and say we're good to go, but it's not quite good to go. And what I mean by that is these transactions up here that are not reconciled really need to be deleted. Now, why do they need to be deleted? Because they're still reporting in all of your reports. Like I said earlier in the video, if it's in your register, it's in your reports, it's in your books, it's counting as, these are counting as income when this is probably just a duplicate of this transaction right here and it never got matched. So this needs to be deleted. Now, the best way to delete is to finish that reconciliation, go to your bank register, and we already filtered by the status, and take those ones that are in April because you've already reconciled April, and just delete. Now, this is the simplest way to delete from the register. Otherwise, most of the time you have to go into the transaction and delete it. So this is the quickest way to just click and then press delete, which I will not do at this moment. So that's the quick and sweet of why you should reconcile your bank account and what to look for while doing so. If you'd like to better your operations bookkeeping, subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Or if you're looking for more in-depth help, check out my AgBooks course that teaches the basics of bookkeeping and QuickBooks Online to ag producers like you. One of the greatest offerings of this course is the private Facebook group where you're able to ask questions specific to your operations books. The link is in the bio. If this video was a help to you, hit the like button and have a blessed day.